Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kectil YouTube channel. Today, we have an exciting conversation with Ray, a passionate advocate for global education and sustainability. Ray has supported young leaders from over 120 countries, helping them become change makers in their communities. In this interview, we'll dive into his personal journey studying abroad, how international education shaped his leadership skills and the incredible sustainability work. He's going to build a better future for all of us. I'm sure in that. So stay tuned for an inspiring discussion about the power of global experience in driving mindful, lasting change. And also don't forget to like this video, put your comments, some questions to the Ray. He will answer to all of your questions. So please don't hesitate to do that. And thank you, Ray, for your time and for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for your very kind introduction. And thank you very much for having me on your YouTube channel. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks a lot. And my first question will be to you. Can you please share a bit about your personal background and what led you to become involved in empowering young leaders from over 120 countries?
Yeah, my personal background. Okay. I was born and raised in Burma, also known as Myanmar, and so I started um in nonprofit basically because I'm very active in the local youth empowerment scene in Burma. So I have experiences working with the former government of Myanmar to develop national youth policy. So I've always been involved in that field, and that's the way that I've brought up in general as well. And then unfortunately, we have a war and a military coup happened in 2021, and that's when I was forced to move out of the country and I become a refugee in the United States. And prior to that, I was always in touch with Kectil since 2019. I was the first Burmese youth to apply to the program and got accepted as well, like you, the first Ukrainian youth to
Yeah.
apply and got accepted into the program. And then, so when I was applying, Sherry and I, because Cacto program at that time was very small. In prior year, we have only about 200 people in the program. So Sherry was testing me. We were on the calls, and initially we were planning to open a Cacto local centers in Myanmar, like the ones in Zambia and the ones in Kenya. But that didn't happen because I have to move out of the country. And as some of you might already know, Sherry is the founder of the Kectil program. And that's how I got involved with the Kectil. And when I moved to United States, I lived with Sherry and she trained me on how to run the Kectil program. And then suddenly the program grow because of COVID and 2020, 21. And that's the same time that I jumped onto the Cacto program as a coordinator. And then Sherry allowed me to be on the board, even though I never took a position as a board member. I still don't take it. Um, um, so I kind of assist in Sherry in general. And then the program, from 30 countries, we become 50. From 50, we become 100. From 100, we became 120. And that's how I got to shape the lives of young people, assignments. I work together with Sherry on developing those, the program design aspect of it, and then the program operation and the regional coordination elements of it, and rebuilding the board, and also organizing the conferences. So that's where I come in. So it's Cacto who bring me in, and I'm now giving back to the young people in Cacto program.
You are doing a lot of things. In some cases, our stories are a bit similar with the wars in our countries, with the joining the Kectil program in the crisis period in our countries. I would say you was first person from your country, I was first from my country, and I'm feeling have a lot of things we are doing together as a team. And today I wanna share this inspiration, this motivation of our conversation together about a lot of opportunities for young people, about your story to our young viewers that watching our YouTube channel. to give them a bit, believing in themselves that they will be able to do that, even if they have face a lot of challenges that their country is going on right now, or they are going in their lives. So thank you very much for sharing your stories. And before preparing to this interview, of course, I checked your LinkedIn profile, prepared some questions, special questions related to your work that you're doing. And you have a strong commitment to sustainability. Could you please tell us, how did you first get involved in sustainability work, and why do you believe it's crucial for young leaders to embrace this principle?
Absolutely. I mean, sustainability is the core part of everything I do in general, because I come from a country that is very rich in natural resources, and that has a very beautiful history. And then unfortunately we mismanaged it. We are not using our resources very good. And then when I started working, I got a chance to work in Bangkok, and then I got a chance to work in Singapore, and then I got to see the bigger picture. And then now I'm in United States, studying sustainability, and I'm also very passionate advocate about climate change and how serious that is. So sustainability is a crossroad of all of those things. And as you guys might already know, I also work a lot on the advocacy side with the United Nations as well. And the United Nations, we talk a lot about sustainability in different fields, and why sustainability is very important. So I think how did I start it there? I think it's always been there. I might not be using the word sustainability. We might not be using the word sustainability, but most people, especially the young leaders like you and me, who wants a better future for ourselves, who want a better future for our friends, who wants a better future for the next generation that are coming after us, we want to leave things better. When we're talking about the weather, or we're talking about the economic situation, or we're talking about the social welfare side of that. So I think sustainability is key in all of those things, because, for example, let's talk about natural resources and the forest and the climate. We only have one planet. We can go, we don't have two. So we need to sustain it, because if we keep extracting everything, we're gonna left with nothing. And then that's not a good practice. And also protection side, if we're gonna producing a lot of waste and polluting the earth, it's not gonna be good. And so my first exposure to sustainability and these idea was United Nations UN Sustainable Development Goals, when they said that in I was 15 years old. So I heard it from school, I heard it from friends, and I was very lucky to get in touch with United Nations Environment Program, where I learned about, that because my country is also in a very significant part of Asia, because we have access to Indian Ocean, and we have access to, China, and we're the only country in Southeast Asia that regularly have snows in the northern part of the country, and have a very tropical weather in the southern part of the country. And as a person living there, I started to notice the weather pattern change. Those are the impact of climate work. And that's when I reached out to United Nations Environment Program, and then and I established the first ever Myanmar Youth Environment Assembly, which is funded by the United Nations Environment Program, also accredited by them. So it was kind of a forum for young people to come in together and speak about what they think is happening regarding this issue of waste, regarding this issue of overuse of resources. And there are many issues surrounding like gender equality and how we're going to approach that. Because we can't have a world where only the males are leading the changes, and males are leading the world into the direction that they want. We need to have a gender equality, and which is a core part of sustainability. And also, my country is very diverse. We have about 140 different ethnic groups, And then representation plays a huge role in that as well. So how we're going to sustain those relationships so that, not only one ethnic group is leading the country futures into that. So that's how I started my work, collecting, building a forum for young people, let them talk, brainstorm idea, produce policy documents, and put it towards in front of the national environmental agency, national educational agency, and push it ahead on the, at Southeast Asia, we have ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nation, on the regional level, and then push it towards the global level to the organization like UN. So that's how I started my journey. And that's why I'm very deeply involved in sustainability, because I truly believe that if we can achieve sustainable goals and if we aren't trying to be sustainable at this point, we're not going to have a good planet for the future generation.
Thank you very much. Once you are just talking about have you first time started to be involved in different sustainable projects and studies. I'm just sitting and thinking you are really authentic leader because you created different approaches how bring young people to thinking about the future and sustainability because it's really important. I know from my side how it's important. Even in my country, we have some challenges, I would say, are related to nature resources, and we discussed previously with you together about that. But if we talk about sustainability, and I also saw that you're a student right now in MBA in sustainability program. So I'm just curious to ask you about business and sustainability because I'm working with that. So how do you see the integration of business and sustainability preparing you to address global challenges?
Yeah, I mean, businesses, the corporate world runs the world because that's where the money is. That's where our resources finally goes to. We cannot have a sustainable world without the involvement of the corporate world. At the end of the day, the governments cannot fully control everything. You have to involve businesses in as well. And if you look at, let's talk from the climate change perspective, the most of the companies are polluting the planet. So we have to change these rules. And from day-to-day life, we deal with businesses all the time. If you need something, you need to go to the grocery store, and that's a business. Uh, you know, and then those businesses have different implication and they shape our world as well. So that's when I realized is okay, I mean I have a background in business management during my undergrad, but it was a traditional business. So we always learn about how to make money. Profit is the number one goal in those programs. But what's happening in our world, the wars are happening, and if you go deeper into that, business is involved. It's about trying to get the resources. It's about establishing authority so they can make their economy grow. So business is a key stakeholder in the world's political, economic, and social welfares. And historically, these businesses aren't taking the initiative that they are supposed to. You know, as a business, if you make $100 billion and if you give back $1 million to the community, that ain't right. If you produce 2 billion tons of carbons and then you do a project to do a 1 million carbon offset project, that ain't right. So at Bard is kind of give a promotion to my school. We are the number one sustainability program in the United States, according to the Princeton Review. So we learn about different aspects of sustainability in business. For example, when we talk about investment, if you're a wealthy person and if you invest in the companies that are only making profit and do not care about the people or the planet, you know, is your investment, what does your investment mean? So we learn about impact investment and how to engage and encourage people to invest in a company that not only care about profit, but also care about the planet and the people. So that's the financial side of that. And then, how do we encourage different companies to take their corporate social responsibility to the next level? So that's another thing that we learn about. So those are ideas that I have as a young person. I always see that okay, there are these huge corporations operating in my country, coming in from China, coming in from USA, and I know that they're making huge loads of money and then and when I saw that their little corporate social responsibility project, I was like, no, that ain't right. Something have to change. And right now, Bard, they're teaching us how to lead that change. So we need, and also the aspect of diversity, equity, and inclusion into that. If a if a Chinese company or a Russian company come into the Ukraine, for example, and
Mhm.
and operating on the Ukraine land, how many percent of the company employees are Ukrainian? You need to think about that, you know? And then if they're making that profit, okay, how many are women and how many are men? You need to think about that. Because if they're making $1 billion, how much of that company's high level, executive level employees are Ukrainian? You have to think about that. And then if they are making $1 billion, how much of that $1 billion are they paying taxes to the Ukrainian government? And then how much of the taxes are being spent on the Ukrainian, on the areas that the company is working on. So that's what sustainable businesses are all about. So it's about, also we love when businesses make money, but when with the money, they also have to create a social values into that. So sustainable business is encouraging company all that and nurturing leaders who think in that way and who bring that aspect of social and environmental values into the business world, which have never done before in the history. That's why we have a huge climate crisis. That's why we have a huge gender inequality disparity.
Mhm.
That's why we are having wars. That's why we have a lot of tax evasion cases. That's why we have a lot of legal cases. So that's what I'm learning about, and that's what I want to work in the future as well in general.
Wow, that's really great. You inspire me to go more deeper with this topic and even thinking about maybe additional MBA in sustainable program. And once you were said about the big companies and all the questions that companies must to ask even itself about what they are doing, how they are doing these things, I just started to thinking about the opportunities that opened for Ukrainian young people, for Ukrainian small and medium businesses right now due to wartime and all the projects that I'm going to help to build economy, rebuild economy, to help to develop business and different projects. They always focus on social impact, social and environment impact. You cannot apply for the grant for your business. You cannot apply for any of your idea without social impact that you will be doing for your people, for your country. And I guess this is good approach that our government, our people, some investments, they are trying to do for Ukraine. For other countries, I also saw such things, but mostly if we talk about just countries that started to develop, they more focus on sustainability than already developed countries. And here's the thing that I just mentioned for myself. Maybe I'm mistaken in that, but I believe that we will have more sustainable things, more sustainable words in the future, especially after this video. Once more viewers, more people will heard about our discussion in that case. But yeah, it is really interesting topic. We can discuss a lot about that, and I guess in the future we can record separate videos about the sustainability and this topic especially. I'm sure that you will be able to share a lot of interesting things and examples in this discussion. But today I also want to discuss more with you about your achievements and experience that you already got. Because as I said, I checked your LinkedIn and I saw that you pursued several degrees across different disciplines and institutions. So, how has your academic journey, including your bachelor degree in business and management from the University of Northampton, shaped your approach to leadership and problem solving that you're doing right now during your career, I would say?
Yeah. To talk about, so University of Northampton was my first ever bachelor's. So I did two bachelors, one in University of Yangon, with English language and literature, which I didn't finish because we have a war happened and the school have to close. So at Northampton, what I learned basically is the importance of what I call POLC. You know, if you're in the management world, if you're in the business world, that's the four letters that you need to know: planning, organizing, leading, and monitoring or controlling, we call it. So that's all that's like managers, and you can tell whatever they do, but when you boils down with different aspect of management, it comes down to that. So, I learned about planning is very important. For example, when you're running a program like Kectil, you need to plan things ahead. Even if you plan things ahead, things will drops out on the way, changes will happen. And at my current work at the YMCA, those kind of things also happen. So you need to be able to plan step, you need to lead step. So the program is basically a traditional business program. So you learn about management, the principles, you learn about marketing, um, how to build a marketing funnel, how to develop avatar, stuff like that, and what's the different P's in marketing mean. And you learn about human resources and how to develop a human capital, how to develop a strong workforce. Um, and you learn about strategic management, how to think and see stuff from the strategic lenses. What does a mission means for an organization, and how does a vision drives an organization, and stuff like that. So at the Northampton, I basically built my management foundation, as I'll say, from the different aspect as well. And also because Northampton is a university based in UK, a lot of the courses are evolved around the UK and the EU in general, because UK and EU issue hasn't happened that time when I was in school. So we approach about, we see European businesses and how they operate, and how does it differ from the Asia Pacific side of the world, and how does it differ from the North American side of world. And and my school is, very focused on, they force a lot on academic achievement, and they also force you on the social impact side of that. So, if you want to be an outstanding student, you need to have good academic grades, and you also need to prove something that you are doing socially. You need to have a social project. So that's where I learned those skills about, how to integrate the traditional academic values with the social side of that, and also build my academic skills from the ground up. That's where I learned most of my basic management skills. Yeah.
That's awesome. You also had the opportunity to participate in an exchange semester at Mississippi Valley State University. And to be honest, I was surprised how a lot of achievements you have. And in that exchange semester, how did studying African American studies abroad impact your global perspectives and cultural understanding?
Absolutely. I mean, it was an experience of a lifetime, because I always wanted to do an exchange. So I did a couple of exchange, but there was a standout for me, because in US Embassy has a Fulbright commission where they give out scholarship to different people. So I applied for that and I got into that, and I was placed under Mississippi Valley State University, which is historically his HBCU in United States. We call historically Black colleges and university as HBCU. So because I'm very interested in, how, because if you think about the history of the United States, it starts on the slavery. And then,
Mhm.
a lot of people from Africa are being brought to the United States, and they become slaves, and they fight for their rights, and the history is dark. And now African American community is thriving in United States. And now you have the first female Black president nominees who is running for the president. And in 2008, you have the first black male president, Barack Obama, leading leading the United States of America, which is the leader of the new world and the leader of the world in general. So I want to learn their journey because in my country we also have used to have a slavery issue. We have civil war. So those are the elements. When I was placed into the Mississippi, it was not very glamorous because when you think of United States, you think of New York City, you think of Washington, D.C. You don't think about Mississippi. And I personally like to explore to the places and want to reach to the places where people don't explore much. So, Mississippi, I was in a rural area in an HBCU. We are very underfunded school, but the staff and the school and the teachers are just incredible. So I spent about 5 to 6 years, 5 to 6 months, learning about basically, the African American histories together with African American students, friends in a class in Mississippi, which is a very significant state for the African American community in United States in general. So I learned about the values of, um, working hard. I learned about the values of fighting for what you believe in. And I learned about the dark history of slavery. And then I learned about the changes that happened along the way. I learned about the importance of freedom. I learned about the importance of, you know, um, what it takes to fight for what you want. And I learned about the importance of how important it is for us, for the younger generation, to respect the generation that comes before us, who, pave the way so that we can have a chance. So those are the things that I learned at the Mississippi Valley States. And because I come from a country that is in the Civil War right now, and Mississippi, I learned a lot about the Civil War in the United States. And also, I learned about different cultures because I was born and raised in Burma. I'm Asian. I have Chinese and Indian background. So I've always used to seeing people like me. We don't have African American people um in my country. So it's good to be in that community and learn that, oh, we are just human beings. We have our differences and we have our similarities, but there we share a lot of stuff as human beings, and those are the things that I learned, and that changed my perspective on how I see the world, because I was very isolated back home in my little community in Burma, and then I was exposed to totally a different community that I wasn't aware of, and those are the things that keep on shaping my understanding of the global view, and then my worldview has shifted because of that, and I learned to respect, you know of different local cultures in United States, and even my view on the United States changes because of Mississippi and Mississippi Valley State University.
Well, thanks a lot for sharing that. I guess everyone who's going abroad or even to another city studying, they started to open this world from another side. They started to think even openly, discuss openly. They started to be more objective in some cases, in some discussions. And I guess, yeah, studying abroad contributes to developing ourselves, first of all, then our communities will have and to help them to grow even quicker because we see different examples, different things that we can take and try to implement to our some projects, our something that we would like to develop. And here I would like to ask you, what kind of advice would you give to students who are considering studying abroad, particularly those interested in combining fields like sustainability, business, leadership development, or different other things?
Yeah, I mean, studying abroad is not an easy. I mean, when you look in Instagram, when you look at TikTok and look at YouTube and watch those videos, it looks glamorous, but in reality, it isn't. It's hard.
Yeah.
For example, I was in Georgia having a good time. Sherry's taking care of me. And then suddenly I moved to New York, and things suddenly change because of that. And then you are a foreign student if you're going abroad. For example, let's use my example of a Burmese students coming to New York to do my master's. You have to speak different language, and you have to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to do your own laundries. I mean, for most of us coming from the developing countries, those are the luxury that we have. Sometimes we don't have to deal with those things. We're
Mhm.
just walking around speaking our own language, having our friends and doing okay. And then suddenly those things changes. And on top of all of that, if you're on an academic scholarship, most of us are, we need to maintain our all the grades good, because if you're not maintaining your good grades, you need to you're gonna get your scholarship removed. So whether you are studying business, whether you are studying science, whether you are studying sustainability, international students have lots of pressure when they are abroad studying, and due to those circumstances that I mentioned. So my advice will be you need to learn how to handle stress very well and not to lose yourself, because you can just be focusing on the academic side of that and not making friends and missing out on what life is about. Because have being a student is also about having fun. You just shouldn't be studying all the time. So you also need to find a balance between those things. What I struggled as a student was, okay, the component, because sometimes you also have to work part-time to be able to, manage your living expenses. So, and most of the international students have to do the same. So my advice would be, you need to learn those skills of how to build your life as a person, because you're not relying on your parents anymore. You rely on yourself. And then how to maintain your academic grades and have a good standing in school, and how to have a social life. So you need to have those skills. I don't know, watch videos, practice cooking, practice studying late at night, practice do an internship. So those things actually help. And those are the things that you need to be focusing on when you are thinking of studying abroad. Because when you actually go here to a foreign countries, you just have to deal with it. You don't have no choices. So if you can, please learn about stress management techniques. Please learn about how to have, conversation with the people that you don't know. And please learn about how to stay connected with your family back home and friends back home. That's also a very important part. So though, because at the end of the day, no matter which field are you in, those little things drive the way you manage your life, and it shapes you as a person. So, if you move abroad and study, and then don't if you forgot to call your friends and families, you're gonna have relationship barriers for you as well. Those things actually matters. So my suggestion will be learn how to manage stress, learn how to build relationship that are meaningful, learn how to be academically good student, and learn how to stay connected with friends and family back home.
You shared really important thoughts. You share important lessons, I even would say, because I remember myself, even when I started to go abroad and study there, a lot of challenges I faced, but I guess one of the biggest challenges, even until today, I have it is communication with my family and friends who still staying in Ukraine. And for example, last month I helped um, to relocate my mom to the country where I live right now. And I understood how a lot of things I missed in our communication during the year that I was studying abroad, because right now we are facing even some challenges with understanding each other, because I'm thinking in completely different way as she think. So it is important thing. So please take in account, dear our viewers, because yeah, from the one side you're getting a lot of opportunities, a lot of things for growth your career, and from another things you need to learn how to manage all of the things in your daily life. So it is really great adventure, I would say. And yeah, another thing that I would like to discuss quickly with you today, in your recent post about the Summit of the Future and your action week for SFP and UNGA 79, you discussed key initiatives like the Future Economy Lab and Kectil. Can you elaborate on how these initiatives aim to empower youth and address pressing issues such as the skills gap and employment opportunities. And also you mentioned the importance of innovative finance in boosting capital flows to youth-focused initiatives. What are some specific examples of innovative financial models that could effectively support those kind of programs?
Absolutely. Well, all of you know Kectil. If you're watching this YouTube channel, you knows about Kectil. So I'm not gonna touch too much on that because you already know that. So I'm gonna speak a little bit about Future Economy Lab, which I'm involved in, which is a very pretty interesting initiative, and I think I can share some a new knowledge on because and you also touched a little bit earlier as well. When young people like us, when we started when we finished high school, we started looking into different scholarships. And then, okay, how do I get scholarship? And after that, when we learn some stuff and when we have some internship or volunteer experiences, we want to run our own little initiatives. And then we start looking about how do we get money? How do we get funding? And then we usually falls into, oh, we can get grants. That's a route that we fall under. And then grants are good, but they are very limited. You can get it like what's the biggest amount of grant that you can get? $1 million. And is that it? But most of the grants start from you mentioned about small and medium-sized businesses or social initiative. Or you can get a $20,000 grant. And the thing is that a lot of people are competing for the same grant. So the competition is strong. The amount of money and funding you can get is very limited. And also the number of field that you can work on is very limited because everybody wants a grant. So the grant holder have the power of, oh, you need to work on this field and you need to follow these guidelines and all that. So that's where innovative finance come in because there are billions and billions of money all over the world that aren't tapped into the youth development or the sustainable development side of fields. And there are many ways to fund your initiative or to build your ideas and to get your finances from. For example, there are social bonds, there are green bonds where you can get money to fund your initiative in sustainability. And also there are private equity firms that want to invest specifically on the impact side of the businesses where you can, for example, build your sustainable consulting firm. Without the grants, you can get the money as an investment and make a deal that you're gonna have this amount of profit and you're gonna have this amount of social improvement. So that's what sustainable finance, innovative finance is all about. So it was about finding different ways to get funding and finances away from the traditional grants so that as a leader, you have a responsibility that you can take, and also you can scale your businesses in a wider sense, in a faster way as well. So, and that also include, right now, most of the young people want to work in a traditional field, but there's people who want to go on the entrepreneur route, who want to create their own destiny. So innovative finance is for those kind of people. And at Future Economy Lab, we are working with over 1,000 civil societies that engage with young people, and we're figuring out ways how to, actually unlock these billions and billions of money, uh, and also raise awareness on these civil society organizations that they can actually use this money to, advance their visions and missions because historically and currently as well, most of these organizations and most of these youth-led organizations just focus on getting the grants and getting doing the fundraising from that side of that. So we're trying to change the narrative of how we approach money as nonprofit, how we approach money as an impact-driven organization, and challenging that notion of, oh, we cannot take private money. No, you can actually take private money and create an opportunity for the young people as well. So we are trying to change that narrative, and we're working with, as I mentioned, over 1,000 civil society-based organization and trying to raise awareness that, and also kind of lead the thinking piece of that as well. So exciting stuff coming in the future.
Thank you very much for sharing that. And reflecting on your own journey, today we discussed a lot of things. You shared a lot of stories, and it is really valuable, I would say. What personal experiences have shaped your understanding of leadership and sustainability, and how can others learn from them?
Yeah. I personally I learn from other people because like everything that I know, not from me, because I got into this world knowing nothing, and I learned from you about YouTube, and I learned from you about the the social media side of that, how to built a brand book because I don't want to do that. But there's a skills that you learn from other people. So that's what very one important thing is to always keep your mind open and to always keep your heart open. Because if you're open, things come in from different ways. And so do not limit yourself. So that's one thing that I can share, especially in the field of sustainability, because sustainability is very recent. It's a field that is evolving so much currently right now. So if you want to be in sustainability, you need to keep your mind open and listen from different places because right now we're trying to, approach climate change and there are mistakes that we make as a societies. And also, so you need to have that adaptability to, change because we are living in 21st century. We are living in 2024. We're not living in the paper ages. We're not writing anything on paper, and the information is so quick. Everything happened within a minute, and your access to information is changing the way you work. You have AI and all that. So adaptability, I cannot stress that enough, is very important. Um, and so keep an open mind. I'm always trying to adapt. And the word that I learned is love is learn and relearn. So that's as a young people, we need to focus on those things. And because changes are happening so quickly right now, and the way that the whole industry, different industry is set up. So you need to learn how to, you know, go with the flow in the change and change makers need to learn how to have courageous conversations. Change maker need to learn how to embrace change. So those are the things that I have been practicing and valuable for me. So those will be the thing that I will say from my personal experience that other young people should be focused on.
Great thing, really great thing that you shared. And also, we have already a little tradition on our YouTube channel. Each of our guests, we always asking about some advices that would you give to young people who are passionate about making a difference, but maybe they feel overwhelmed by the scale of global challenges like climate change and equality. So, what kind of advices would you give to our audience today?
Absolutely, that's a great question. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially if you are working in the field of climate change. When you read the news, oh my God, the world is burning.
Yeah.
What do I do? Oh my God, I mean, even if you work in finance, oh my God, the stock market is crashing. What do I do? Um, so one thing that I believe is the challenges always come with opportunities, especially in creating an equitable and sustainable futures. So my advice will be engage with other leaders who are working in the field. For example, Sherry cannot run the Kectil program by herself. So she need to engage with other leaders who have knowledge of that. And I'm helping the operation of Kectil right now. I cannot do it by myself. So I have to engage with other leaders like you and other people on the board and regional coordinators and and that have values in that. So do not limit yourself in one place. If I'm working with the people in New York to build the Cactus program, it will never happen because I need to collaborate with people from the developing countries who are living there so that we will have people from there. You know, if I want to learn about Ukraine and I'm talking with people living in Georgia, it's not going to happen. If we want to put the Ukrainian issue at the forefront of the Cactus organization, we have to talk with a person who come from that place. So different cultures, different socioeconomic and different environmental contexts have very important role in highlighting that, addressing those global issues from the point of inclusivity and adaptability. Um, for example, when I was still in Asia, I prefer to work with environmental advocate that are based in my city, and then all of my solutions are very localized. But on the regional scales, we find the difficulty to scale our solution because we are not talking with the people from other sides of the world. We are not talking with people from different countries. So we got overwhelmed because we don't know what opportunities are out there, and so we are stuck on our little bubbles. So my advice will be never stuck in your own little bubbles. Try to make friends from all around the world and try to see the world realities from their point of view as well, and it will help you on your journey, and it will help you to grow. And Cacto is a one place that you can do, because next year we're gonna have people from over 100 countries. Think about it. You can talk with people from 100 different countries who share the same sentiment as you. They come in to this program saying that I want to make a positive change. You know, that's a great starting point. You want to make a positive change. I want to make a positive change. How can we do it together? And think about 100 countries. They come from different environment. They come from different culture background. That's where you learn. So never close yourself, open yourself, and be embraced and build the relationship that matters. And always think about diversity and inclusion when you do your work and think in those terms. That's what I've been doing, and it's been very beneficial for me.
Thank you very much for sharing that. And I also will tell our viewers that here in the description of the video, you will be able to find application form for the Kectil program. Yes, once this video will released, we will still have our application form open for everyone who would like to join the Kectil and make these words better for the future and being really authentic leader like all of our participants, I would say. Yeah, thank you very much, Ray, for all the thoughts that you shared. And last of one thing that I would like to ask you today, it is a short motivation, some words that you would like to share with our viewers that will be inspire them never give up and doing really great differences and big things for their communities and their work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna leave you with a song from Taylor Swift. Only the young can run, so please run.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ray, for sharing your incredible insights and experiences with us today. Your dedication to empowering young leaders and promoting sustainability is truly inspiring. And even me, I'm motivated so much to doing better and better things every day. I believe our viewers have gained a valuable knowledge about how they can contribute to positive change in their own communities. We really appreciate your time and commitment to making a difference, and we look forward to see how your work continues to impact the world. And I hope that we will see you in some of the next episodes as well, and taking some new interviews with you and new discussions. So yeah, thank you very much, Ray, for everything. And for our audience, if you're interested in learning more about Ray initiatives or the Kectil program, be sure to check out the links in the description below because there we will leave all necessary information. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we're also doing updates on time about everything that's going on in the program and in the world as well. And yeah, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, keep striving for a sustainable and equitable future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me. Appreciate it.